This week we have Mars the Warrior moving into Scorpio and the Sun, ruler of our self-expression, moving into the partnership sign of Libra. All of this, an empowered moment and more in my new intuitive energy forecast for the week of Monday, September 22nd through Sunday, September 28th, 2025. Stay tuned. Hello everyone, this is Colleen Lemma, Starseed Astrologer and Spiritual Messenger here with your weekly intuitive energy forecast. For this week, we're going to be using the Thoth Tarot by James Wasserman. This is going to be the main message for everyone. Your special message card this week, depending on your stone of choice, is going to be coming from the Sacred Power Reading Cards, and that's by Anna Stark. So before we get into the stones of choice or the astrology for the week, let's go ahead, close our eyes, and do an empowered moment. So as you close your eyes, take a deep breath. And as you exhale, release and let go of any tension or stress in your body. Release any thoughts that you might have in the mind. And continue to breathe in and out in a natural breathing cycle. Feet flat on the floor or the ground, with your legs and arms uncrossed for the next few moments. Call in your angels and guides, master guides and teachers of the highest vibration of light. And ask them to guide you in this week following the new moon solar eclipse in Virgo that we had yesterday, Sunday, the 21st. And as we are now moving into a powerful new beginning, a powerful new cycle that may take some weeks or even months to unfold before us, this week, starting today, September 22nd, the beginning of this week, we have the fall equinox here in the northern hemisphere. The sun is moving into Libra. And of course, for our friends across the world in the southern hemisphere, it's the spring equinox. So with the sun moving into this sign of balance, harmony, compromise, cooperation, equal give and take, and yes, relationships and partnerships of all kinds. Let's focus our attention on balancing ourselves. Probably right now the most important keyword for the sun moving into Libra, since it is the day after or the week after the new moon solar eclipse, with its very powerful and profound energies of transformation, a death and rebirth, a transmutation so that we can move into something new. Let's breathe in the idea of balance, breathing it in deeply into every cell of your body. Balancing your physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual bodies. Exhale. Breathing in deeply again and balancing the feminine and the masculine aspects within yourself. And exhale. Breathing in deeply. A stronger connection to your higher soul self as you balance that with the aspects of releasing and letting go and purging aspects of your shadow side. And exhale. It's all about balance now. Focus on bringing in harmony, equality, peace, and balance into your body, your mind, and your energy field. And let's do one last deep healing, cleansing, and balancing breath. As you exhale, and when you feel ready, you can open your eyes, returning to this time and place and space. And now let's get ready to look at our stones of choice for the week, for the special message card a little bit later on here. So these are all special intention pendants. You can find them on my website, ColleenLemma.com, along with many others, along with my services. And the first stone of choice or pendant of choice is this beautiful red jasper. It's wrapped in gold wire. It's Reiki charged with the vibration of the number 4, the number of being grounded, but also the number of being good in business and good with manifestation energies. It has infused into it the sign or the qualities of the sign of Taurus, the sign that does rule finances and money and personal resources of all kinds. The earth element is infused into this, and that earth element rules practical, logical, and focused energies. And the energy of Archangel Michael is infused into this, the archangel that assists us in removing blocks to our life purpose. Okay, our second stone of choice, and this is black tourmaline. So the black tourmaline is wrapped also in gold wire, and it's Reiki charged with the vibration of master number 22, number of proper use of power on the earthly plane. The qualities of Pluto are infused into this one, the planet of transformation and transmuting your own shadow side and lower vibrational energies. The element of earth, again, is infused into this for restoring harmony to the root chakra and being grounded. And it has also the energies of Archangel Michael, the archangel of protection and removal of all lower vibrational energies and negative attachments. And then our last stone of choice is red aragonite. Red aragonite. It's wrapped in gold wire and Reiki charged with the vibration of the number 1, number of confidence, motivation, and willpower, and the number 4 as well, the number of being grounded, good in business, and manifestation. The qualities of Capricorn are infused into this one, sign of having good energetic boundaries and the ability to steadily move towards one's goals. The element of earth, again, for practicality, logic, and focus. And again, Archangel Michael's energy, the archangel of protection, and who provides assistance in removing blocks to one's life purpose. So they all have some similar qualities and they all have some different qualities. They are all related to the root chakra, which is that root chakra energy of stability, security, and groundedness, which is why they all have that earth element. So again, the stones of choice are the red jasper, the black tourmaline, and the red aragonite. I thought probably the week after the solar eclipse, I thought maybe we'd need some grounding. So, all right, let's talk about the astrology for the week on Monday, the 22nd of September, the day after the new moon solar eclipse, which was at 29 degrees of Virgo. If you didn't watch last week's weekly video, you could still watch that and catch up on what that solar eclipse was all about. But the day after, this Monday, the 22nd, Mars, the planet of energy, action, and forward movement, and often known as the warrior in astrology, moves out of Libra, the sign of balance, and moves into Scorpio, the next sign of the zodiac, until November 4th. And Scorpio is one of the sign of the zodiac. I'm sure there's others as far as working on the shadow side. But Scorpio does deal with things that are hidden. It deals with the shadow side of our psyche. It deals with death and rebirth, transformation and regeneration. It deals with other people's money, other people's personal resources, or partners' money and partners' personal resources. But I think the biggest part here with Mars moving into Scorpio, especially so close to that solar eclipse, is that now we're putting forth the energy and action, Mars, into our transformation, regeneration, death and rebirth process. Scorpio again rules the mystery, right? It rules the psychological, the metaphysical, the shamanic, and again, that shadow side. So again, we're putting and funneling that energy into all of these things that Scorpio rules until November 4th. Also on Monday the 22nd, we have the Sun, which rules how we shine our light. It rules self-expression. It rules creative projects, creativity. It rules joy and success. And it's moving out of Virgo. Again, that last degree of Virgo is where we had that solar eclipse yesterday on Sunday the 21st. Now it's moving into Libra. So that is going to be until October 22nd. And this is the fall equinox in the Northern Hemisphere, the spring equinox in the Southern Hemisphere. So here we've got the idea of balance, harmony, compromise, cooperation, and yes, relationships and partnerships of all kinds that the Sun is going to be highlighting for the next month. And then on Tuesday the 23rd, we have Mars in Scorpio, and it's going to be making a difficult inconjunct to Neptune, ruler of the spiritual realm, ruler of illusion, delusion, confusion, fantasy, but also trust and faith and surrender in the divine plan and in the divine timing of the divine plan. And that happens very early on Tuesday, Eastern time. So we're going to be feeling this on the latter part of the day on Monday if you're in Eastern time or in the United States. For those of you that are in Europe or, Australia, New Zealand, you're going to be feeling this definitely on Tuesday the 23rd. So what is Mars and this inconjunct to Neptune all about? Mars is very raw, very real energy. It goes down deep. It rules, again, the subconscious, the psychological. And Mars is that warrior, assertive, sometimes aggressive sort of energy. And it's connecting with this kind of love and light, faith, ruler of the spiritual realm and the angelic realm qualities of Neptune. So they don't seem to go together very much. So we're going to have to make some adjustments here. Adjustments with our healing process. It might be taking on a whole new kind of energy right now, trying to merge again these higher angelic qualities with the raw and psychological aspects of that Mars and Scorpio. So we're kind of combining both and needing to try to again adjust the energy so we can move through that. Also, because Neptune can be about illusion or confusion, or sometimes even anxiety or addiction energies. And Mars and Scorpio is dealing with that shadow side, right? So this is where some of our psychological fears and lower emotions might be coming into play. So we might have to be careful not to fall back into any kind of addictive patterns or escapism patterns. And that's not just about substances, because we can be addicted to work. We can be addicted to food. We can be addicted to exercise, We can use TV or video games as a form of escape, as we can with other things. So that just might be, something that we want to pay attention to. Also on Tuesday the 23rd, the Sun that has just gone into Libra on Monday, the day before, is going to make 3 aspects on Tuesday. It's going to oppose that Neptune that we just talked about, Neptune in Aries. It's going to make a positive connection to Uranus and then a positive connection to Pluto. And Uranus rules that higher God mind energy. It rules channeling. It rules the sudden and unexpected information or event or happening that comes into our life. It rules freedom. It rules liberation, probably first and foremost. And here again, we have Pluto, ruler of transformation, regeneration, death, and rebirth, because Pluto rules the sign of Scorpio in astrology. And that's what we talked about with Mars going into Scorpio. But these are, for the most part, positive aspects. The first one that's opposing Neptune It could be either or. An opposition usually plays out with other people in our lives, but these are the collective planets, the generational planets, Neptune and then Uranus and then Pluto that the sun is connecting to. In fact, with the Uranus and Pluto connection, the sun is in Libra, an air sign, Uranus is in Gemini, an air sign, and Pluto is in Aquarius, an air sign. So it's making this big, beautiful, grand trine energy, an aspect of harmony. And this is going to be harmony of movement into higher vibrational energies, higher dimensional energies, because Uranus and Pluto, along with Neptune, rules kind of, again, this evolutionary process that we on a personal level, that humanity on a collective level is moving through. And the fact that we have that Libra, Gemini, Aquarius with the sun and Uranus and Pluto, grand trine going on. Neptune being in Aries and being opposite the sun ends up forming the tail of what we call a kite in astrology, which is, again, a very beneficial aspect. It gives us this opportunity to really kind of move up to the next level in our evolution and growth. So take the action. When you see the opportunity, take the action. Do more meditation. Do some spiritual exercises or work. Collaborate with people of like mind. Make sure you set an intention at the beginning of the day for joy, happiness, success, peace, all those positive keywords. And then again, balance into that with that Libra sun. On Wednesday, the 24th, we're back to Mars and Scorpio. And Mars and Scorpio is making two difficult aspects on Wednesday. First, an inconjunct to Uranus and Gemini, and then a challenging square to Pluto. So, that day might be a little difficult, a little challenging. Again, we're needing to make some adjustments. Mars is that warrior energy that wants to plow through and move forward, not taking no for an answer and not stopping along the way. It's in fixed sign Scorpio, so full steam ahead. Again, it's not going to allow any challenges to get in its way. But Uranus, the planet of the strange, the unexpected, the unusual, freedom, liberation, it's in mutable, changeable Gemini. So we're having to somehow merge these energies of this fixed forward movement and staying on track with kind of being bounced around a little bit or needing to go with the flow a little bit if we're redirected. I feel like that Uranus and Gemini in this case might be redirecting our energies, and we just have to be able to kind of merge those two very different energies in the best way possible, but it can still be a little difficult. Uranus and Gemini, sometimes the mind is scattered, it's all over the place, or even events come unexpectedly and out of the blue, shocking events that we weren't expecting, or shocking news is maybe even more likely because Gemini is an air sign that rules information and messages. So we might have some unexpected news either on a collective level or on a personal level happening. And that square to Pluto, that one can be difficult too. In fact, we talked about Pluto being the modern ruler of Scorpio in the zodiac. But in ancient times, Mars was the ruler of Scorpio. Before Pluto was discovered in 1930, Mars ruled Scorpio, and Mars is in Scorpio right now. So we've got Mars, the ancient ruler of Scorpio, in Scorpio, and it's challenging Pluto, the modern ruler of Scorpio, which is in fixed sign Aquarius, an air sign that rules, again, our mind, the mental body, the mental realm. So we've got a lot of stubborn fixed energy, and with a square, it's like pushing us towards change and transformation and regeneration on a significant level, but we might want to dig our heels in. And I don't know if I want to say stay stuck, because of course none of us wants to be stuck, but we have certain ways of thinking, believing, operating, acting. And so sometimes we dig in our heels and say, no, I don't want to change. And that Mars square Pluto is going to say, yes, we need to have some changes. We need to realign you with your truth. We need to go through this huge death and rebirth cycle, especially after that solar eclipse last Sunday, the 21st. And we need to move you in a different direction. So sometimes with Mars square Pluto, it might feel like the rug is being pulled out from under you. There could be some power and control issues. Scorpio rules power and control. And here we've got the ancient and the modern ruler of Scorpio in this challenging aspect. So pay attention to that in your personal life with other people. Pay attention to that in your work or career life. Pay attention to that on a collective level and what's going on out there in the world. So that's kind of the end of the astrology for the week. The rest of the week, there's no major planets that are connecting with one another. The moon is doing its thing, going through the signs of the zodiac, but normally we don't talk about, those moon happenings. I do that in my daily posts on Facebook and Instagram. So let's go ahead and shift gears and let's go ahead and take a look at the messages from our angels and guides. I pulled out the Thoth Tarot deck. My angels and guides were suggesting I use a different deck. And this one was the one they wanted me to use. So let's go ahead and see what they have to say. I have to say this too. The other thing about it is, you know how I usually only use upright cards, and I don't tend to too often use reversed cards unless it really just falls out of the deck and it's reversed when it falls on the ground or on the table. And when I pulled the Thoth Tarot deck out of its holder, out of its encasement, it fell on the floor. It fell all over the floor and every which way. So I kind of had this little intuitive hit, like, okay, do you want me to put them all like in upright order again? Or am I supposed to use these like however they come up, reversed or not? And my guides told me that we need to look at, if any reverse comes out, we're looking at the reversed. So I thought I would let you know that too. All right, so the first card is the Eight of Swords. Okay, and the Eight of Swords, the word at the bottom actually says interference. Now, the suit of swords is the suit of the mental realm. So it includes our thoughts, ideas, perceptions, perspectives, communications, information, messages. Everything that deals with communication is represented by swords. And with the 8, the number 8 in numerology sometimes is about power and control. And sometimes is about those that are in a high authority position. And sometimes with authority, we have power and control issues. The number 8 in numerology is also about money and finances and career and success and your life purpose. And if we turn the number 8 on its side, I know it's a little small up there, but if you turn the number 8 on its side, it becomes the infinity symbol, which is probably kind of hard to see, but right? The number 8, turn it on its side, and it becomes that infinity symbol. So we've got that aspect of balance coming into play with the sun moving into Libra, the sign of balance and harmony. But this is not a harmonious card, as you can kind of see by looking at the 8 swords. We've got 2 swords that are straight down, but the other swords are like bent and crooked and like crossing over, and it's just a big kind of mess. And so that can kind of mean that we're having struggles within our own mind. Our own thoughts are getting the best of us. They're challenging us. Maybe we're having challenging communication with other people or power and control issues with other people. We could be having difficulty staying in a glass half full kind of mindset or perspective. And so again, this is often about our own mindset that's a little out of whack, that's a little out of balance, that's again being challenged as we start out this week. So not a surprising message, since we just had that second eclipse of the month of September, that new moon solar eclipse. We might be a little bit challenged to think positively or to stay balanced in our mind, or even in other aspects of our life or body and our emotional body as well. So this one, actually, I see that there's also like signs of the zodiac or planets. It's been a while since I used this deck. And we've got the sign of Gemini at the bottom, right down here. And again, the sign of Gemini rules the mind and the mental realm. But remember when I was talking about Uranus and Gemini, when I talked about Gemini, I said it's a mutable sign of the zodiac. And mutable means changeable. So this is telling me that our thoughts, our perspectives, our perceptions, our mode of communication or thinking, it might be subject to some vacillations. might be subject to some ups and downs. Might be a little bit of chaos and confusion going on for the day with this Eight of Swords. All right, so let's go ahead. I'm trying to see if there's a planet up there at the top. I think it's Jupiter. It's very hard to see, but I think this is Jupiter up here at the top in Gemini, and Jupiter rules our belief systems. So our belief systems are also going to be challenged and perhaps all over the place with that. Now, the next card came out as two cards. The first of those two cards is the Five of Discs, but it came out reversed. It fell out of the deck reversed. So, this is what it looks like in the upright position. The Five of Pentacles, the Five of Discs, which in and of itself is a challenging card. It deals with the material aspects of life, like our job, our career, our money, our finances, things that are tangible. And it's ruled by, in this card, we've got Mercury, the symbol for Mercury, and Taurus. Mercury rules the mind and the mental realm. Taurus rules fixed earth energy, stubborn energy, where we get caught in this mindset. With Mercury, it's our mindset. We get caught in this very fixed, stubborn sort of mindset that we don't want to let go of. And it's probably not always the best mindset, because the number 5 in numerology is sometimes a number of chaos or many and varied variables or energies that kind of come into play. But now we have it also reversed too. Now, to some that might mean that we're coming out of the unstuck patterns because it's reversed. Maybe we're able to move through the stuck mental energy. Or maybe we're becoming more entrenched in the stuck mental energies. So, it depends on how you really want to read that. Let's go ahead, though, and see what the second card was that came out with it, because that might give us more information. Okay, and the next one is also a Discs or Pentacles card, and it's the number 4, and it came out upright. So this is the 4 of Discs, the 4 of Pentacles. You can see we're on a nice even playing field here. We've got equal sides, we're balanced, we're grounded. So to me, having these two come out together is saying that all this ungrounded mental energy where we get stuck in a particular mental pattern or loop or belief system, I feel like we're moving out of that. I feel like having this one be in the reversed mode is actually helpful, because it means that solar eclipse energy we had last week is helping us to maybe become a little bit more grounded. Now, the 4 of Pentacles can also, though, mean that we get stuck in a rut with our thinking, or that we close off our way of thinking, and that we're wearing like these glasses like this where we only see certain things, like wearing sort of blinders on either side here, so we can't see the other options or possibilities or perspectives. So again, I feel like this is up to you, how this energy is going to play out or be used. Do we want to stay, of course we don't want to, but are we going to stay stuck in these mental patterns and chaotic ways of thinking and negative, depressive, scarcity, fear, anxiety, ways of thinking in our mind or perspectives? Or do we want to have more of a sense of stability, security, being grounded within ourselves, feeling secure within ourselves? And when we feel that security and stability within ourselves, it translates to the outer realm and environment around us to create more of a stable environment, to create more of a security energy around us, including in money and finances. So just don't allow yourself to get closed off or stuck in this box way of thinking, and instead use it for its most positive benefit, to be grounded and, again, to feel kind of safe and secure within yourself. This is ruled by the Sun in Capricorn, and the Sun is how we shine our light. And right now it would be the lens shining its light through the sign of Capricorn with this card. And Capricorn is about authority. So we're back to that idea about authority. So instead of having power and control issues with authority in your life, or having, these kind of fighting power and control energies within yourself regarding your way of thinking, instead, be your own inner authority in the most positive way. Be grounded like Earth sign Capricorn within yourself. Capricorn can be success in the outer sphere of career and business as well. It works hard. So this could be something about business or career, or this could be about being successful and being your own inner authority and taking charge of your life in that way. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at the last card. And the last card is a Major Arcana. It came out upright. This is Major Arcana 8 in this deck. It's called Adjustment. Some of you may recognize this as the Justice card, Lady Justice, which in a lot of tarot decks is number 11. And in those decks where she's number 11, Major Arcana number 8 is the Strength card. But in this Thoth tarot deck, say that 10 times fast, or 3 times fast even, the Thoth tarot deck, this is number 8. So remember, we started out with the 8 of Swords, the number 8, which is that money, finances, resources, power, control, but needing to be balanced within ourselves in order for everything to unfold in the most positive way that it can, right? Balancing our masculine and feminine. Here we have number 8, Major Arcana, the Justice card, Adjustment, with the scales of justice here. So we're needing to make some adjustments this week with some of the more difficult aspects, the more difficult energy that's playing out, and the energy, the aftermath of energy from the solar eclipse. And so making these adjustments, as the word at the bottom suggests, we're able to focus on bringing ourselves back into balance so that we can go back to this 8 energy, 8th Major Arcana, of being empowered within ourselves, right? It doesn't have to be power and control or disempowerment. It can be about empowerment within ourselves, taking back our power. And by taking back your power, you're balancing yourself, you're taking your power back from people, circumstances, situations, or your own mindset in order to affect a positive change, since we're now in this cycle of initiation and new beginnings from that solar eclipse. All right, so let's go ahead and see what messages your angels and guides have depending on your stone of choice. So that first pendant of choice was the red jasper. We're going to give this a little shuffle here. Special message for this week for the red jasper people, And the one on top is just screaming at me. And it says, oh goodness, rest, with some beautiful water and a beautiful sky with yellows and reds and oranges and dolphins. I mean, this might seem like a funny message to have, but again, we just went through a heck of a month, right? I mean, the month isn't even over with yet. Even the end of this week, we're still not through all of September. But just the fact that we had those 2 eclipses and Uranus went retrograde before the full moon lunar eclipse on September 7th, we might feel a little fatigued. We might feel a little out of sorts, unbalanced. There's a lot that's been going on and a lot potentially that's still going on. And you might just need to have some downtime. You might need to take a time out. You might need to do some self-care. You might need to have some rest going on. One of the interesting things I find about this card is we've got a lot of the chakra colors here. Red of the root chakra, which deals with our security and stability within ourselves, our ability to be grounded. The orange energy, the sacral chakra, which is our chakra of emotions, where we might become emotionally out of sorts or imbalanced. And it's the chakra of creative self-expression. We've got some yellow hues in here for the solar plexus chakra, your center of personal power and taking back your power. We've got the green of the heart chakra, self-love, self-compassion, as well as love and compassion, and maybe even forgiveness for other people. We've got the blue of the throat chakra, speaking your truth. In fact, I'm going to go with this blue down here, more of a light blue for the throat chakra and speaking your truth. And this becomes more of a darker blue towards maybe that indigo blue of the third eye chakra to envision, and imagine how you want your life to go next. What are your intentions for the new beginning of the solar eclipse? Do we have any purple in this card? Not really. So let's just imagine, though, because of all these other colors, we're going to add the purple. And that's the crown chakra, right? To open up to higher guidance and wisdom, because we got all the other colors. Have some fun, be playful like the dolphins and have some fun while you're also resting. Rest when you need to, but interject some fun and connection with other people that uplift you, that brighten your day. So that's the message for the red jasper people. Put that back in the deck in case somebody else gets it. Give this another shuffle. And the next stone of choice was the black tourmaline. Special message for black tourmaline. This one's calling my attention. Soul journey. Yes, you are on a soul journey. We're all on a soul journey, but apparently those people that have the black tourmaline as their stone of choice need to pay attention right now to what your journey is all about, or what it has been all about, and how far you've come, and how much you've changed, and how much you've grown and evolved, and what you've accomplished thus far. Because many of us might feel down and out, and we might feel frustrated by lack of movement right now, or that we don't feel like we're far enough in our life's journey, that we should be farther along, or we should have manifested certain things. And this is saying don't do that. See, this is a windy road. This soul journey has taken us onto many detours. The end path, or the end goal, is the same: evolution, growth, ascension even. But we've been taken on this windy path, moving here, moving there, having a detour over here, learning this lesson over there. But you've come far in the journey. And your journey, look at how many different souls are walking this path. They're not together. It's not like we have to be in the same place as other souls in our life. We shouldn't compare ourselves to other souls in our life. We're all on our individual journey right now, our individual soul journey. So just do some self-care and self-reflection and self-focus on, again, how far you've come in your soul journey. And that, again, we won't even use the word end goal. We'll just say one of the goals of our soul journey is this evolution and growth, and this ascension into higher vibrational and higher dimensional energies. And you're going to get there. This path leads to that. It's just a matter of staying on your path, right? Don't veer off your path. Stay true to yourself. Stay in your authentic self, and you'll get to where it is that you want to go. All right, put that back in the deck. Red aragonite. Special message for the red aragonite people. Give us a little shuffle. Red aragonite, special message. This one's calling my attention. Oh my gosh, you guys got rest as well. So everything I said for the red jasper, I guess the color red jasper, red aragonite, is sort of the same, very similar, right? And isn't that funny that the red color in this card is the most prominent color? So definitely focusing more on security, stability, groundedness, feeling safe in your body, feeling safe within yourself. And that, along with everything else that I already said, along with getting extra rest and downtime. You might be sleeping more. You might need more sleep, maybe even in the middle of the day, which maybe isn't your typical. I know I've had to a couple times get that, just rest in the middle of the day kind of experience. So don't not give that to yourself, give that time to yourself because it's needed right now. We're going through a lot of heavy duty changes, activations, redirections, downloads, etc. All right, everybody, I hope you enjoyed this reading. Thank you so much for tuning in, for all your lovely comments on YouTube or on my Facebook and Instagram posts. Thank you for checking out my website, my fairly new website at ColleenLemma.com. And I will see you for next week's reading. Namaste, everyone.